Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean. Today I just want to rant. I'm not reacting. And I'm pulling the veil of one of the greatest lies ever told. A lie that was so powerful. It has shaped the mind of generations. A lie that has robbed people of pride, stolen dreams, and destroyed truth from creatures for centuries. They lie about Africa. They say that Africa is poor. They say that Africa is backwards. They say that Africa is uncivilized and the continent needs saving. But here's the reality. They lied to you about Africa, and the truth shall set everyone free. When you know this truth, it will set you free. Now in today's video, I'm telling what my mind thinks. I'm not reacting on anything, so I'll beg you to watch up to the end and tell me if I'm right about this, because what I'm talking right now, it's from the deepest part of my heart. Now, the media that you grew up on, the cartoons, the documentary, the school books that we are reading, you know, it has painted Africa with another perspective. It has painted Africa with three colors. Number one, it has painted Africa with poverty. It has painted Africa with hunger. It has painted Africa with war. And you didn't see the skyscrapers, the tech hubs, art galleries that I have showed, like the one I've showed you here on this video, or the thriving communities. You personally, this lie has made you to see flies on kids, to see kids' faces. They're literally like crying each and every day. It has made you to see cracked soil. It has made you to see drought. It has made you to see like you need to save the children, you know. The commercial breaks are narrated by white or by sad white voices to make you think that like we need savings. That's what you see. And that's what they want you to see. But I will tell you for free, image are being carefully crafted. Image was a weapon, or is a weapon. This is because if they convince you that your origin is broken, if they convince you that you are living in a place that you can never succeed, and this means to you that you will never seek to reclaim it. To my Black American brothers, to my Caribbean brothers, you will never reclaim it. You will disown your roots. You will run from your own home. You will laugh at your own people. You will accept the lie that salvation comes from the West. And that's why a lot of people, a lot of Africans are running away from Africa just to go and look at this American dream that they think is the best, that the African one. And I will say this. They erased the fact that Africa is the birthplace of humanity. They erased that Africa is the origin of mathematics. They erased the history of the fact that Africa, the origin of architecture, origin of medicine and spiritual system that predate any religion introduced later by conquest. What I'm talking to me is something I have lived to think about, and I've decided to wear my African attire. This is a Maasai shuka, and this is a hat being worn by some tribes in Africa, in Kenya, just to show you how deep my conversation is going. They never told you that Africa has 60% of the world remaining arable land, you know. And they never told you that Africa holds 30% of the world mineral resource, from gold to cobalt, from diamond to uranium. And they don't want you to know that Africans were building cities, universities, and advanced society while Europe was still in the dark ages. And this, what you are seeing right now, is what they have been showing you. So when they talk about Africa, they mention colonization and slavery. They make you think your history start with colonization. They make you think your history start with slavery, but never the kingdom of man, the Timbuktu, never the Songhai, never the Kush, the Nubia, or Great Zimbabwe. They talk about tribe, never about civilization. They show you huts, but never show you the mansions in Accra, in Kenya, in South Africa, and the high tech in Nairobi. Don't show you a revolution that's happening in Kigali, Rwanda. They told you Africa need AIDS, but they don't tell you that Africa sends out more in stolen wealth every year than it receives in out. So the question we are going to ask ourselves is, why will they go to such lengths to lie about the continent of Africa? And I will tell you, because if Africa rises, black people globally will rise, and that terrifies the system. And they needed to be bigger. They needed to be new. They needed Africa not to be bigger, but to be the beggars, so they could remain in control. They could remain the savior of Africa. They want to play themselves at the center of each and every problem solved in Africa. They need black Americans to be destroyed or disconnect from Africa, so they will unite and build across continents. They needed Caribbean people to look down on Africans. They needed Africans to feel shame. They needed Africans to flee away from their motherlands. They needed confusion, vision, and self-hate, because unity is power. And if Africa is respected, then black people everywhere are respected. If Africa is powerful, then black people everywhere are powerful. And the system knows once that unity happens, the demolition ends, the denomination ends, the domination ends. And this is why they fund Africa dictators who sell their soul to them, who sell their country for cheap. That's why they kill or they eliminate African leaders who speak the truth, like Thomas Sankara, PLO Lumumba, or not PLO Lumumba, I'm sorry, Patrice Lumumba and Muammar Gaddafi. That's why they are trying to destabilize African nation with a lot of disunity and disturbance. That's why you see there is chaos everywhere in countries of Africa that are top leading in minerals. They are telling about the fake humanitarian, and the benefit goes to them. So this is not a joke. It's not just about land, not just about resources. It's about keeping greatness hidden, about replacing the black greatness with trauma. It's about keeping black greatness and replacing it with trauma, because once you know who you are, once you know Africa was never the weak one, but the strong one that was attacked, you will stop praising them. You will stop asking for handouts. You will stop asking for the seat on the table and start building your own, because we can build. We got everything we need to build. And let me say this. Ask yourself, why is African used as an insult in some black Americans' circles? Why is black still associated with negativity, darkness, and evil? Why do they say third world when Africa has the first peoples and first inventors, the first empires, kings and queens? This all is part of the strategy called mental colonization, making you hate where you came from, and you never fight, or you never fight to reclaim it. Even in education, why is African history taught as the footnote, while European conquest are entire chapters? Why is only in Africa that we never invented, but white people invented everything? Why? Even in religion, why were African traditional believed labeled as witchcraft, like the Wanam, the traditional this, but Christianity and Islam, both foreign, were praised? Even in fashion and beauty, why were some African features mocked for centuries, only to be stolen, rebranded, and monetized? This is not just random. It is intentionally. And the goal has always been to disconnect you from the root, so you will never grow into your full power. Because once you know your root, you can retrace your power and regain it. But I will say this. More and more black people are waking up. We are traveling back to Africa. Those are black Americans. And we as Africans, we are traveling to Caribbean. Black people are starting businesses. Black people are buying lands. They are building relationship with the continent. The diaspora is no longer ashamed of Africa. They are proud. We are rocking Kente clothes. We are rocking Maasai clothes. We are rocking Kitenge, Ankara, the Maasai beads, and the melanin. Unapologetically, we are no longer asking what's wrong with Africa. We are asking what's happening to Africa and how do we take it back, because we want to take it back as fast as possible. The internet has challenged the game. Now we can see what they have been hiding. And real African cities real African innovations, real African beauty. And the more we connect, the more powerful we become, because they can't erase. They can't erase this. They can erase textbook. They can try to erase the history, but they can't erase out the truth. They told you that Africa was poor. Now you see black pioneers rising from Nigeria to South Africa. They told you that Africa is unsafe, but you can see African Americans moving back and living better, and even white people are moving back and they are living better. They are coming to Africa and they are living good. They told you that Africa was primitive, but now you can see African tech is solving problems in the West. They can't even address that. We need to reclaim our narrative. It is time to reclaim the narrative globally. Africa is not a charity chase. Africa is a powerhouse, and black people are not victims of history. We are survivors, builders, creators, and warriors of the history. Let us be clear. You can't fight for black liberation while disrespecting Africa. You can't call for justice in America while ignoring the economic colonization to the motherland. You can't talk about reparations without talking about the wealth stolen from African soil. You can't talk about Pan-Africanism and still believe the lies they fed you about Africa. The truth is uncomfortable, I know, but for its liberating, you are not descended from slaves. You are descendant from enslaved kings, queens, warriors, and innovators. Africa is not broken. Africa is not broken. It was broken into, and we are the generation putting it back together. So just keep spreading the version, keep the version of Africa that you know right now. Like, will you keep spreading the lies, or are going to change and spread the truth? Will you stay disconnected, or will you build bridges? Will you keep believing you are powerless, or will you tap into the power that has been inside you all along? If you are African, I will say just be proud. Be proud and protect your heritage. If you are Black American, reminder, you are not lost. You are stolen, but you can reclaim what was yours. You can reclaim what was taken. If you are Caribbean, your island blood comes from the same roots. It is time to reconnect. Let's invest in Africa. Let's travel to Africa. Let's teach our African kids the truth about Africa. Let's build a new narrative. It's not just about us, but for generations that are coming, because Africa is not your burden. Africa is your birthright. And they lied to you about Africa, but now you know the knowledge. With knowledge, it comes power. With the truth, it comes healing. With unity, it comes revolution. Let's stop asking for handouts. Let's start showing our value, and the system fear black unity. I've been saying this all along. They fear the rise of the connected African diaspora, but guess what? The rise is already happening. So to every king and queen listening, never let them tell you are rude. Never let them tell that you are rude, or tell you that you are weak. Never let them shame you of your greatness. The lies that we have been told, we need to do something with it. We need to eradicate it. The first thing we must do is to understand why the lies exist in the first place. Lies about Africa, lies about slavery, lies about black inferiority. They didn't happen by mistake. And these lies were strategic, used to justify slavery and colonization, was strategically used to strip away our self-worth, to make us believe we were broken, to prevent global black unity. If we don't know the purpose of the lie, we will never understand how to fight it. White supremacy needed a global myth, and that black people were less than backwards, primitive, and dependent. They needed the myth to build their power, and they needed us to believe it, or at least stay confused. And I always say, they managed to do it. They successfully managed to do it. As Africans, we have been brainwashed by the system, from religion, socially, economically. And that's why it's hard for our liberation. Now, here's the truth. You can't fight lies when your mind is trained in the system. The schools they built weren't designed to teach us the truth. And they were built to produce obedient, confused, colonized, and disconnected workers, not powerful, conscious black people or black minds. And that's why black people must start educating themselves. We must start educating ourselves and our children differently. We must teach our children the history. We must not lie or follow the history of the white supremacy. Black homeschooling networks, we need that. We need a documentary by black creators. We need African content creators teaching us about the history. We need African-centered history books. We need youth programs that teach black empowerment. It's not enough to complain about the curriculum. We have to create our own curriculum, because the one we are using, it has been whitewashed. The one we are using, our history starts with colonization. The one we are using, we did not create anything as black people. So it's not enough to just focus on the curriculum they are using to us. And I'll say this: the media is the mouthpiece of the system of lies, and they used movies, they used books, TV, and music to shape how the world sees black people. The world sees black people as criminals. The world sees black people as clowns, slaves, athletes, and sidekicks. And the world sees black people as entertainers. They benefit from our entertainment. They dance to our tune. They play our tune. They monetize our rhythm. But they don't see the value in us. So to stop the lie, we need to do a number of things. We must tell our own stories. We must tell our own stories. And this means that we must support black creators. We must support black filmmakers. We must support black YouTubers. Right now, I see black YouTubers fighting each other. Africans fighting Africans YouTubers. Black Americans fighting Africans YouTubers. Africans fighting black Americans YouTubers. Jamaicans and African YouTubers are having these commotions. Why? It's because we are continue to live in the lie. We are continue to believe that they created, or we need to depend on them. We need to support each other. We need to stop this fighting. We need to create our own platform, not just being guests in theirs. Black media isn't just about entertainment. It is liberation. Each and every video, every book, every podcast that uplifts black truth is another brick in the wall against the propaganda. We don't need permission. We don't need validation. We need action. And the action that we need is here and now today. And that's why I'm telling you, we need to tell the truth. We need to stop the lie. We need to believe on our own ancestors. We don't need to believe their history. They're trying to erase our history, rewriting their own history, that we never discovered everything as black people. We never invented anything. Why? It's because they have made it to believe, or us to believe. One of the biggest lies ever told was this, that black people across the world are different, separate, and even enemies. Africans don't like black Americans, and the Caribbean blacks don't trust Africans, and that they were too divided to ever unite. That's what they tell black people. Whenever I see these diasporas wars online, I'm like, we are living the lie. We are believing the lie. And we are doing what they want us to do. They want us to fight. They want us to parade. They want us not to believe in ourselves. They want us not to use our own culture. As black people, Caribbean can fight African fighting black Americans, and vice versa is true. So to stop the lies, we must build bridges between all black people. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build bridges between all black people. And I'm so happy to my Gen Zs and my youth leaders. They are trying to call upon African Americans, call upon Caribbeans to come and unite with us. I'm so thankful to Ghana, the year of return. It made it easier for Ghanaians, or it made it easier for black Americans to return to Ghana, of African diaspora to return to Ghana. So we need to stop the lies. First, let's travel to Africa if you can. Travel to Africa if you can. Okay? Come to Kenya, come to Tanzania, come to Ghana, come to Rwanda, come to South Africa. Not just for tourism, but for connection. Another thing, collaborate with African creators, thinkers, and builders. I'm looking forward to collaborate with my black American creators. I'm looking forward to collaborate with my Jamaican creators. Let's create something. Let's talk about something. Let's share minds. And that means that we are bridging or building the bridges. Now, learn our shared history, not just national history. Respect the different struggle, but recognize the connection or the common enemy, because all of us, we have common enemy. When Africans are going to America, they are being told that black Americans are like this and like that. But no, we have the common enemy. I will say this: unity is our greatest weapon against false narrative, because once we stand together, the lie of black infidelity or black inferiority collapses, and lies flourish when we depend on others. If we rely on white institutions for food, for education, for banking, and etc., they control not just our bodies but our minds. To shut down the lies permanently, we must build black banks. We must support black businesses, must build tech owned by black people, open black-owned clinics and schools and hospitals. You know, every institution we build is a shield against manipulation. We stop the lies when we stop begging for inclusion. We stop the lies when we stop begging for the handouts. We stop the lie when we stop begging for IMF funds, for World Bank funds. So the goal is not to be accepted. The goal is to be so strong that they have to respect the truth that we build ourselves. Let me say this. Too many of us are still scared to speak truth boldly. We worry about offending white folks. We worry about the surrounding, too radical, you know. But here's the thing. The lies were told, so our truth must be even bolder. Speak out in your workplace. Teach your children what schools refuse to teach. Call out racist police, not just individuals. Use social media to spread truth, not trends. Stop letting fear silence the truth inside you. And that's why I'm saying this. They have spent centuries lying about us with no shame. And now it's our time. It's our turn to speak the truth. We must speak the truth, because truth will set black people free. If we don't act, the lies will keep mutating. They'll put a black face on the lie. They'll give up token positions, or they'll give us token positions. They will offer empty apologies and symbolic gestures, all while keeping the care of the lie alive. But if we rise together, if we unite the truth in unity, in power, there's nothing they can do to stop it. We are the descendant of royalty. We are kings and queens of scientists, of builders, of freedom fighter, of Marcus Garvey, of Malcolm X, and etc. of people, of Patrice Lumumba, of Thomas Sankara, and the people who are trying to fight for us. Now, we were broken to lead, and to lead, we must walk in truth. Let this be the generation to end the lies. The Gen Z are doing it. I'm so happy. I go across social media, I see them talking, I see them discussing, and this is happy to me. So let this generation that tells our story our way, let this be the generation that finally say no more lies, and we know who we are. So if you are ready to stop the lies, if you are ready to know the truth, like this video, share and comment. Share to the people you think they must hear this video. Okay, I am the Kenyan Beast. Until next time, I say peace be with you.